Hi there, James Galyon here, and this is another in the series of Minor Miracles, the lessons, the blessings, and the miracles that occurred in my life that strengthened my faith in God. Uh, the last video I made was talking about the huge blessing we got. Someone donated us a vehicle, and while it was a fantastic blessing, it had one little problem with it that we didn't realize till after we got it. And just kind of want to share you just a quick blessing how God takes care of even the little bit smaller things too. I drove that thing for a couple of weeks, went to the store, and it's kind of neat the way this worked out because I went in with a huge shopping list. Usually I couldn't go in with a big old shopping list, and because I didn't have the money, but God had provided me with some work. I had put enough money in the bank I could go down and completely refill the cupboard, because we've been running low on food a lot. And so went down there and went in the store, and I had about 2 hours of shopping to do. This is slow shopping for me. I don't walk real well. I got a little issue going on with my leg. I think y'all have heard about, but hopefully get something done about that soon. Just waiting on God to provide. But anyway, I went in there with a big old shopping list, and about half of it was frozen stuff. And I usually go over get that last, and so I go do all the other shopping, get my basket full, and put all the frozen stuff on top of it, and beat it to the checkout. It takes half an hour just to get through the checkout. Went through their little night checkout. It's all self-scan and stuff. And we save a lot with coupons and whatever, So anyway, it takes a while to get through all this. And first thing I went in though is I thought, something. My wife happens to like something called Tab. It's a pink can that's made by Coca-Cola. It has no calories. It has or just 1 calorie, I think, and no carbohydrates. So it doesn't hurt her diabetes for her to drink it. It's kind of like her coffee in the morning, It's got caffeine in it and stuff like that. So she always likes to have a little Tab soft drink. And I'm going to take this thing off here. Now the shine probably get you. But even that hat there. Hey, check this out. This hat there, I couldn't afford to pay my maintenance fees this year, $200 and something, and so I worked out a deal where they're letting me go and do a little work across the street for the maintenance company, because if you don't pay your maintenance fees, they can take your house, and they're letting me work that out by just doing a little work, keeping an eye on the swimming pool, stuff like that. And I went over there and helped them out, and they're giving out free hats. I thought it was pretty cool because I didn't have a hat. And I get this ball burn up here without a hat. And I love this hat. That's nice and cool. Got a little red stripe on it. Anyway, so much for my hat. But anyway, back to this. See, God even provides a hat for me. I don't want to go spend $10 on a hat. Because every penny we got is just literally we need for my wife, for her, and medical, and just to survive. But anyway, God is providing. And so I'd been shopping, and I went in there at the very beginning, and it was kind of late at night, and I was looking at first thing I was going to get her the Tab soft drinks. They come in a 12-pack, and they had them on sale for $3, and I was going to go get her one. Go over there, and since they're not the most popular thing, they didn't have any in stock. I'm like, doggone it. Oh, okay, well, I better go and get the rest of the stuff. And I'd parked out there in the parking lot. It was getting around 11, 12 o'clock at night. And looked at my watch, and I saw that there was another Kroger down the road, and I thought, something, before I go and get all this stuff and all this frozen foods and stuff, I better, in fact, I told you right, it wasn't late at night, it was actually in the evening. And sorry, I got that wrong. I remember my stories right. But anyway, I remember there was another Kroger down the road, and I thought, well, maybe they might have this, because my wife doesn't ask for much. And I wanted to get her some of these Tab soft drinks so she could have her little cab in the morning. She was run out of them. So I go back out to my truck, this nice new truck people had bought for me and everything, and went over to it and got in it, turned the key, and okay, usually it just started on the first click. Crank, 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 nothing. Crank, 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 crank. Thank goodness it does have a really good battery in it. And so I sat there and cranked on it for a while. I'm like, okay. Now I'm a shade tree mechanic. I can tell a little bit. So I get on there and I raise that hood. Okay. Well, all my knowledge of mechanics went out the window because instead of having a little 4-cylinder or a little 6-cylinder straight engine, this thing had a fuel injected 5.7 Vortec supercharged whatever. I don't know this thing. I could barely find the air filter on this thing. I've been working on vehicles my whole life, just to repair the older stuff. And I'm like, okay, all right, there has to be one of two things wrong with this. Either it's got an all electronic ignition because my old cars didn't have that, and that cost an absolute fortune to fix. So it had to either be not getting enough fuel or not firing. So there's only way to figure this out. So I knew that if I could get some gas down the carburetor, I did finally find the carburetor. It's a pretty neat looking engine, this thing. If I could get gas down the carburetor and I'd crank on it, and if it tried to start, then I knew it wasn't the electronic ignition. So I'm stuck here. I got nobody to come help me or nothing. So I go over and I'm like, okay, now what can I put some gas down the carburetor with? The thing is, 100 feet from the closest gas station. It weighs 5,200 pounds. It is very heavy to push. And I'm not the great. I'm 58 years old. I have stage 3 lymphedema in my legs are huge. And it's something I need to get treated, but God will provide a way for that hopefully soon. But anyway, I needed some gasoline. So I thought, well, okay, what I need is a container to put some in. And so I thought, where can I get a container? What can I use? Maybe a styrofoam cup from inside? No, that gas will melt that. I knew they had styrofoam cups for coffee. So I literally just turned around, and there was a breeze blowing, and I looked, and there's a plastic, one of those spring water bottles just rolling over literally in my direction. So I walked over and picked it up. I thought, well, it's going to have to be dry. I'm not going to be able to use it if we got water in it. Only got water mixed with the gas. And I picked it up. It was bone dry. So I thought, well, now I need some gasoline. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to go over there and probably use my credit card to start the pump up to squirt a little gas in this thing. But I saw some man standing over, like I said, 100 feet away or whatever it was. And at the gas station, he was pumping gas. And I walked over and said, sir, can I get just a tiny little bit of gasoline in this bottle? He goes, sure. And he fills it up about halfway. And I said, thank you. So I had my gas, had my water, my gasoline in my bottle to go test out the truck. Go over, raise the hood, pull off the air filter, pull a little gas down it, get in, crank it, cranks right over. Then it dies. Okay. So this tells me, and if you're not a mechanic, this tells me I have something wrong with the fuel not getting from the gas tank to the engine. So it's a fuel pump, and I'm thinking like, okay, and now where am I going to have to go for a pump? And I started looking around for the fuel pump on this thing. I don't see one. So I called the only guy I know. His name is Al. He's been a good friend for years. Got a lot of respect for Al. He's very self-sufficient. He's a rebel like I am, doesn't take guff off anybody, but he'll help you. He's got a huge heart. And I called Al up and I said, Al, I'm over here in this parking lot. This has happened. Is there any way you can come give me a tow home with your truck? Happened to know he happened to have a vehicle, an older Suburban, just like mine. He said, well, probably your only problem is probably your electronic fuel pump's gone bad. I go, really? He says, well, I'll send somebody over there to, one of my employees over there to give you a tow home. So the employee comes over, he gets out, and before he hooks up to me, he walks over, he gets underneath the back end of my truck, it takes a rubber mallet, it hits the gas tank 2 or 3 times. I'm like, what the heck? He said, sometimes when those electric fuel pumps start going out, you got to give them a whack sometime and jolt them and they'll work again. So he went over there, he whacks on it 3 times, I get in the truck, cranked it over, started right up. So let me get this. God provided a way for me to test it. He provided the exact only person I could think of to call. It was somebody who actually had the same vehicle that I had, who had the exact same problem that I had, who knew how to fix it and get it going again without any hassles, And so I got the truck and didn't need a tow home. Drove it home, worked fine. And for the last week or so, I've been driving it. Still hadn't had a problem again. But I know that that little problem that I had is something that's showing me that I'm going to need to replace that soon. So, but we've been living literally from dime to dime. I mean, there's not been any extra money, and my wife is afraid if we go somewhere in it that she's going to get stuck somewhere with and have a problem with her diabetes and stuff. And I'm like, come on, God, we need to provide. Need you to please provide us to be able to help us to get a fuel pump for this thing. So I save up a little bit of money, and then by the time I'd get enough money, it's $100 for this fuel pump. She'd say, "Well, need you to go to the store, dear? Running out of food." I'm like, "Okay," and I go spend the money at the store. So we still had no money for the fuel pump, and about 5 days ago, I was ready to go get the fuel pump part and replace it. I had to do all the work myself because labor costs a fortune. And once again, she goes, "You need to go to the store and buy groceries. We're totally out of milk. We're out of butter. We're out of this, this, and this." I'm like, we need to pray about this. So I think it was before I went to the store, I prayed with my wife. I said, "Look, God, you got to provide. We need to repair this truck so it won't break down on us again." And, I mean, it's a beautiful vehicle. We appreciate you giving it to us, but I appreciate you showing me what could happen unless I replace this part. So we need you to provide for us, for a fuel pump for this thing. And excuse me, dry throat. And so that was I can't remember what day. It was like Wednesday. Thursday, I get a phone call from my childhood friend. He was my best buddy growing up. The only one who ever stepped into a fight to stop a fight. I was 5'11". I had a guy that was 6'3" come after me. He was going to beat me to a pulp, and my friend is about 5'6", stretching it, maybe 5'5". Little stocky guy. He didn't like bullies, and this big guy was going to beat up on me one time, and he cornered me at my car. And my friend came over. He was riding with me. He came around the other side of the car, wedged himself in between us, looked up at this big dude. He says, "You want him? You better go over me." And the guy backed down. That's how good a buddy this was. This was my friend, my best friend growing up. But I think I'd talked to him a couple of times over the last several years. And he had his wife and kids. I had mine. And we were all going our separate ways. And his name's Joe. And I mean, I got lots of good friends, Joe and Robert, and many other ones out there that have helped me that I've grown up with. And I appreciate them. But like I said, the night before we had prayed about, God, you're going to have to provide a way. Joe calls me up the next day. He said, "Hey, Jim, I'd heard you having some tough times over there, and Joe works for Hewlett-Packard, and he travels around all over the country repairing machines and stuff, installing them. But apparently something had canceled out that day or whatever. He was on this side of town. He said, come by and see you. I heard you was having some problems and, maybe need some food or something. I can take you to the grocery store and buy you some food." I said, "Well, Joe, just last night I took every penny I had and I went down there and I bought groceries. So we're stocked up on food, but you know what we really can use? I need a part for my car." He said, "Well, sure." He comes over to my house, puts me in his little car, drives me down to the auto parts store, pays $103 and buys me a brand new fuel pump. I mean, talk about timing. The night before we had prayed, God provide. And here he is. He knew we were from months back, that we were having tough times. But this one day, he chose to give me a call to say, "Hey, can I come over and help you out?" Well, yeah. Just when I'd blown all the money. So, God provides again. He provided this part for us, and got everything now to. I've got to go out and install it. I hadn't had a chance to do that yet, but I'm going to go out and install it. Get everything I need now. So I just thank God. I appreciate what He did for us. Appreciate even more what He did for me a few thousand years ago by sending His Son Jesus and providing a way for me to be forgiven of my sins. So if you ever want to know about anything I have to say on any of my videos, feel free to write me, chat with me. Most of y'all know me online. I play a free game at night. I have almost 1,000 people on my friends list that all know me as Bird of Prey, Pray. That's my handle online. But I'm just Jim Galyon, and this here is just another major blessing, and that's just amazing how these blessings and miracles and things come along just when you need them. And God provides, So He provided, like I said, my friend came over and helped us out, and I mean, everything worked out to find out what the problem was and to solve it too. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. God is good. He loves you, and I just pray that someday you will find the faith that I have here, because the tougher times get, the stronger my faith gets. And right now I'm ready to go mountain be moved and expect that sucker to get up and dance. You have a blessed day.